I'm laughing because I remember being this excited about it.
Yeah, because I'd been talking about the Ferrari and stuff in that hour conversation the night
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't stop laughing at the idea of the scene of you turning up in a Ferrari. Just brilliant. All the years of simmering resentment with your songwriting royalties nicely building up a fortune for you while the rest of us are skint.
So at that point, we didn't have a name for it. We didn't really know what it was going to be about. Basically, we just wanted to do a fake band documentary about a band that couldn't tour. And we had the idea that the bass player left. We were going to do a live audition process in the rehearsal room.
We were, that's right. Yeah,
Rich
we were.
was going to turn up. And that was basically going to be the just off the road interviews, all that kind of stuff. There was no Zoom thought in it at all at first. It was just the idea that we haven't seen each other for a while. And then we had all sorts of social distancing jokes, didn't we? Which we can say now because we're never going to do them. But, you know, the idea that you and me would be having like huge shouting matches. And
that's right. I forgot about this.
With a big ruler trying to keep a distance between us while we're screaming at each other because of social distance rules. And there was the rule of 6. So
yes, the rule of 6. And that was going to be we'd throw someone out.
Yeah, because
who were we going to throw out?
Well, we were going to throw out the new bass player.
The new bass
appropriate because he wasn't allowed in for legal reasons because of
the rule of 6.
So we had all these ideas for scenes to do in a rehearsal room with the idea we were auditioning the bass player and all of that stuff. With the idea that it would be part in lockdown and then part sort of coming out of lockdown with all the weirdness. And then, of course, as we filmed the first bit in October when we could meet up. And then we were meant to be doing the next bit. I think it was booked for around like the 10th of November, 11th of November, something like that.
Yeah, it was quite close.
And the lockdown rules came in and basically killed that. And we were like, okay, when is it going to happen? And then I went into quite a deep think. And I'd been editing the footage that we'd done already, which was all the interview footage. And I was editing little bits out of it and basically went, we all hate each other.
Yeah.
Why would we want to get in the room to, first chance back? Yeah, let's all get in a room with each other. I said, we wouldn't. We'd be like, we'll get in a room when there's some money and when there's a reason to. Until then, bollocks to it, And I was just looking at it going, this isn't about that. This is just us going crazy in lockdown and we got to get the Zoom calls in. And we've been doing the Spadathons and I was thinking, well, let's, get on those Zoom calls and have those sociable moments, have the crew, have the bits and really show the both some of the social side when people get together on Zoom and find new ways to socialize, but also the solitude of it. And
also
therapist.
The other thing I remember at the early days was the fact that everything was kind of loose. The Spudathons were initially just a fundraising bit of a laugh and a bit of a jokey. I mean, there's no way you and I would come up with dance routines, but we were coming up with dance routines for 2020 Rendezvous. I remember the interviews that we did, even that then was still a bit, we weren't really 100% sure what direction, because obviously we didn't know the restrictions were going to kick in. So therefore, it was a little bit open-ended. It wasn't, this is going to be the story and we're going to say this and you're going to say that. Because of that, it gave you a lot to work with. And I think it lent itself, it was easy to mold into a shape because through analysing the footage and editing it, you thought, oh my God, these people hate each other.
And well, I'll find in my notes from that day because I basically, let me find the Bumhole song. Because, so I've got the lyrics here to Birds that obviously was in there, which was written on the 24th of October. Now, we did the filming 29th of October, 30th of October?
29th or 30th, yeah.
So that was written about a week before. I probably tweaked it at some point, but it was probably written about a week before. And I had the idea of Ricky saying that because of, he wanted to contribute or he'd never contributed to the albums. And we had all that stuff and then obviously introducing his hit in Germany and all of that. So I think some of that was in place. And then I had a load of questions, didn't I?
Yes. Yeah, we filmed on the 30th because I've got a recording of the Ferrari because I just wanted an audio recording of that engine.
Does sound nice, doesn't it? Right, okay, so here we have it. I've got 10th of October 2020, right? So that was a few days after.
That's the day after 2020 Rendezvous was written. That was the 9th we wrote 2020 Rendezvous.
Okay, so we'll come back to that in a second. But storyline-wise, this is what I wrote in my notes, okay? I've got timeline, everything accurate up to early 2005, but shifted It's 2002, so we're all 3 years older. So clearly I didn't.
You've sent this. I've read this.
Oh, right. I was induced with Nick and Andres, met Dean and Ricky as I did in the guitar shop, blah, blah, blah. New band formed out of the ashes with my old mate Chris. New band is formed by Dave, Chris and Nick, and somehow Ricky ends up on drums, but not as a full member. That's never really been discussed. Obviously, we ended up making Nick not a full member either. Dave and Chris don't get on, but Dave's solo album didn't take off, so they're forced to work with each other still. Ricky's still on wages, and that causes friction. Dave's written most of the songs and is a bit Roger Waters-esque, thinks he is the band, and he has the most money from it. This is the biggest change, because obviously we changed you a bit. Chris is a likeable vegan that's a lot nicer than Dave. Think Nick Mason without the steaks. Rich is totally out of place, an opera singing 5-string bass playing session player who's a friend of the manager. We had that in there. We had production manager, I did my mate Davey T. That because we didn't end up doing it in a room. And
no, we were going to have Dean there, weren't we? This wise old owl
stuff. Yeah. Everywhere we as a band, there was always Dean with us. That was what. Why he's there, no one knows. But he always skins up and tells stories. That was that was going to be in the studio. That was going to be that. Yeah, and I've got 2020 Rendezvous was our hit in 2010 about how great 2020 was going to be. Blur sued us and shared the royalties. The 2022 was the 2020 Rendezvous 10-year anniversary tour. Shut during the German leg due to COVID. So that's the first notes.
Wow.
I've got there.
That's quite accurate.
That's that. Yeah. So, and then I really want to find the questions. You go through, you've got on there how 2020 Rendezvous came around, while I find the notes of the questions that we had.
What I remember from the day when I sent you that in the morning, we'd spoke in the evening, and then the following morning I was really excited. I was sending you this long, if I'm a chirpy optimist and you're a cynical grumpy guy, we could totally be RP and FR, which obviously refers to Rick
Francis
Parfitt
Rossi.
and Francis Rossi.
Yeah.
I can picture us trying to rehearse new material, which in turn causes more issues as Ricky and I want to try one of our new songs and you storm off with Sean racing after you. And you'd be all quoting here, "I can't believe they're biting the hand that feeds them" outside the studio. After all my years of hard work thrown back in my face. You know what I mean? That was at 8:40 that morning. So I think it may have been, hang on, what day was this? This was the 7th. So the following day, we chatted again that day. And I put, upbeat Chris, he's surprisingly upbeat. And then we sort of chat for a bit, and we end up with the next morning when I got up, you'd sent me 3 songs in a very rough, they were still good. There was Monday, There's Not Enough of Me, and song 3, No. I remember that I heard them and was instantly jealous that you'd managed to get out the traps first, but obviously you would do because you know, I got 4 kids. Not that I talk about it. And I'd recorded 2 ideas on the 8th of October, which is this obviously the next day. And then this morning of the 9th, you'd sent me a voicemail, I seem to recall. You'd sent me No song 3. And I put, I love it, dripping in references. That's as good as the Ruttles were to the Beatles, but not enough to be sued. And you put, wait until you hear the next one, Monday. And I put, amazing. So we sort of bounced back and forth. And then here's the next one. It's next level, Monday. And you said, of course, I'm doing the Blur stuff. I think I'd said I'd do the other style of bands. I don't know. But when we'd spoke on the phone. And you put Monday.
Didn't really work out like that in the end.
No, it didn't. It just
doing whatever, didn't we?
Yeah, I called you Neil Innes at one point. Incredible work, and you said it's a total mix of Sunday, Part Life, and Tracy Jacks with a bit of Chemical World thrown in. And I said I had an idea for a slow 12/8 one, perfect vehicle, like this is a low solo at the end. We'd need to work on that together. That just never came off. Oh. And the little bit at the end of No, when you do the. It's a little bit James Bond, that little Coxony moment. And I even said Lily thought you were doing James Bond.
I just played random notes,
obviously,
with a
tremolo. Let me put a
vibrato,
whatever. Potato.
No, they're very different.
I know, just pushing your buttons. And I was talking here about this could be the era for Cool Britannia. That's our sort of what we're going for.
Let's finish off the bit about 2020 Rendezvous.
Sorry, yeah, I've got it all here.
We had a voice. I sent you a voice thing where I had the idea of the concept of doing the song about the future, like Pulp did with Disco 2000. So have you got that there? Play that down the mic.
Hang on. I don't know if it's this one. I'll just play this, whatever this is.
Chris. I'm just sitting here writing another song, and I came up with a lyric, and I thought that's too good to be a lyric. I've got to fucking write it as the song. So one of our old hits, one of our old songs is "Let's All Meet Up in the Year 2020, and we'll have a party." And of course, we get to 2020, and we can't. But our hit is all about 2020, like Jarvis Cocker's "Let's All Meet Up in the Year 2000." I'll do a parody of that, but let's all meet up in the year 2020.
Well, there's that, and then I text back 2020 vision. Don't say let's all meet up. Rephrase it. Let's rendezvous. I put let's rendezvous in 2020. Then rhyme it with plenty? ?
Then we had a conversation.
And it became a FaceTime call.
But we liked Rendezvous, but I didn't like Rendezvous 2020, so we swapped that around. It became 2020 Rendezvous. Mm-hmm. And the moment I said 2020 Rendezvous, you said to me,
"You and me,
let's recreate it." I say, "No, Chris, it needs to be 2020 Rendezvous."
And I went, "Yeah, you and me and you." No, we can't. That's terrible. Yeah.
And I said, "No, we can. That's great." And then I said, "We need stuff what rhymes with you," and you said, "No distancing between me and you because of the social distancing." And I said, "Borderless like the EU because we've now come out of there." But in 2010 we were laughing. And then I quickly noted it down what we'd said and texted it to you. So you had it.
Yeah. I went into the lounge and got a guitar, just the one that was whichever was there, picked it up and just started strumming a pattern and was going, it was in A, wasn't it? 2020 rendezvous. The melody wasn't quite formed. You and me. And it naturally went to C sharp and then up to D. And I love a major to a minor. And I went, oh God, it's the chords to creep. And you said something like, that's why we've got to use it. Because it's so iconic. And
I said, go away, finish off the verses, the lyrics. So you finished off the verses, the lyrics. And then I came up with a loop.
Yeah. But shall I play my version?
Yeah, you play your version.
So later that morning on the 9th, this is all at like 9:20 in the morning after being very giddy on FaceTime with each other.
And I've been up all night.
Yeah, I did this. I'm going on holiday, flying through the air. I've saved up all my pay to go anywhere. We are all a family, no matter where you're from. A shining reality, what could go wrong? 2020 rendezvous, me and you. 2020 rendezvous, there's so much that we can do. 2020 rendezvous, borderless like the EU. 2020 rendezvous, there's no distance between two. I flew out with all my friends, we laugh, dance and sing. The drinking that never ends.
That Flossie in the background.
Now I'm flying home again. Going back it hurts, but I'll see them in the end. In the pub after work.
Fiddle like that.
2020 rendezvous. You and me and you. 2020 rendezvous. There's so much that we can do. 2020 rendezvous. Borderless like the EU. 2020 rendezvous. No distance between me and you. And that's it. I just repeat the. In fact, I just said there on it, and that's it.